This is lesson 1.4, absolute value number line. Again, you are responsible for doing the warm-ups. However, we will not be going over the warm-ups in this lesson. If you would like to check your warm-ups, you can either go to the PACE Center or you can come into my room. My office hours are on my door. Okay, absolute value. The definition for absolute value is on the screen. If you need to pause the video to write it down, please feel free to do so. Absolute value is the distance between the origin and the point on the number line. That makes no sense. So if you write that down, you're not going to understand what it means. Basically, absolute value is the distance a number is from 0. The distance a number is from 0. Okay? The symbol for absolute value are these two lines. Now, anything inside the absolute value does turn into a positive number because it's the distance from 0. Distance is never positive or negative. It is the distance from 0. So the absolute value of -6, how far is -6 from 0? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 6 numbers from 0, so the absolute value of -6 is +6. You may have been taught that it magically turns into a positive number. It doesn't. It's distance. Same thing with +6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. +6 is 6 numbers away from 0. That's why the absolute value of +6 is 6 and the absolute value of -6 is 6. Okay, so let's try some of these on our own. How far is 4 away from 0? It's 4 numbers from 0. So the absolute value of 4 is 4. How many numbers away from 0 is -3? It's 3 numbers away from 0. So the absolute value of -3 is +3. You should be able to do the rest of these up until 7. Now let's look at number 8. You have to simplify inside the absolute value first, and then you take it out. So -7 plus 16. This stays inside the absolute value bars. Now, do these numbers have the same sign or different signs? Well, 7's negative, 16 is positive, so that means different signs. So I subtract 16 minus 7. Borrow, this is 9. 16 is positive, so my answer is a +9. Now I keep it inside the absolute value bar. Now what's the absolute value of 9? 9. Okay? Let's look at number 9. Again, I simplify inside the absolute value bars first. -10 plus 8. They have different signs, so I'm going to subtract. 10 minus 8 is 2. 10 is negative, so my answer is -2, but the absolute value of -2 is +2. Okay? What is a mistake that is made when we have to simplify absolute value? A mistake that is made is that you will take this out and make it +10 and +8 and tell me it's +18. Same thing with number 10. This is -2 minus 4. They're both negative, so we add. So this is -6. The absolute value of -6 is +6. Now, number 11. Actually, let's look at number 12. This is why it's important to go one step at a time. This negative has not been used yet, so it's going to come down. Okay? I'm going to write a nicer negative. Then I'm going to have my absolute value bars, and then my +8. Now, -3 minus 5. Do these two numbers have the same sign? Yes. When the numbers have the same sign, you add the numbers.
All freshmen, please report to the main gym.
So when I combine these two numbers, 5 plus 3 is 8, Always keep the sign of the larger number. 5 is negative, so my answer is negative. So now I have the absolute value of negative 8. So now I bring this sign down, because I haven't used it yet. The absolute value of negative 8 is positive 8 plus 8 equals 0. This sign out here is this says, what is the opposite? This says, what is the opposite of the absolute value of negative 8? Well, the absolute value of negative 8 is positive 8. The opposite of that is negative 8. This sign has to stay here. That sign has to stay there until I use it. Well, now I've used it and I've solved my problem. Same thing here. So go ahead and do 13 and 14. Actually, go ahead and do 14. Pause the video. When you get it done, go ahead and play the video, and we'll see if you got the right answer or not. Okay. 7 minus the absolute value of 4 equals negative 2 plus 6 is 4. 7 minus 4 equals 3. You should have gotten 3. If you didn't, see if you can find your mistake. If you can't, please seek help. Okay, now we're going to substitute. We've already learned how to substitute. So what do I do when I substitute? I rewrite everything, putting empty parentheses for my letter, and then I fill in the value of my letter. What does x equal to? So I put 2 here. So this is the absolute value of 2 minus 5. These have different signs, so I subtract. 5 minus 2 is 3. Keep the sign of the larger number. 5 is negative, so my answer is negative 3. So the absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. And circle your answer. Okay, let's look at number 17. Empty parentheses minus absolute value, empty parentheses plus 3 absolute value. Let me rewrite that again. I'll put my absolute value in different colors so that you can see it. Empty parentheses minus, there's my absolute value bar, empty parentheses plus 3, and there's my absolute value bar. Now, I go in and I put in, for y, I put in a 10. For x, I put in a 6. This is the absolute value of 6 plus 3, which is 9. So I have 10 minus the absolute value of 9 equals 10 minus 9 equals 1. Okay? 19 and 20, I want you to go ahead and try to do them on your own. Now we're going to actually write the following numbers in increasing order. What I suggest for you is I would convert your fractions to decimals. It's just going to make it a lot easier. Now, write and graph the following numbers in increasing order. So increasing means from smaller to larger. Okay, so I want to go with my smallest number. If you remember, negatives, the bigger the negative, the smaller the number. So my first one is going to be negative 2. Okay. Now, negative 3 over 2. I'm going to convert that to a decimal. And I get, for my decimal, I get 1.5. So this right here, negative 3 over 2, is actually negative 1.5. That comes next. So I'm going to cross these off as I do them. Now, then I'm going to have 0.
Can I have your attention, please? Michaela, Raina, please.
So after 0, I got my 0. Then I have 1/5 and 1/2. So if I convert these to fractions, it's going to be easier for me to see which one comes next. 1/5 is 0.2. 1/2, of course, is 0.5. And then all I have left is 4. So there are my numbers in increasing order. Negative 2, negative 1.5, 0, 0.2, 0.5, 0.4. So the first one I graph right here is negative 2. 1.5 is approximately right there. 0, 0.2 I'm going to put right here. 0.5 will go right here, and then of course 4. Okay? So you can do 22 on your own, and that is the lesson for today. Okay, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please come and see me. Have a nice day.